What's up, everybody? It's Luke James, not the singer. If you're looking to get your music reviewed, you can hit up this email that's right here. But today I'm going to hit you up with my thoughts and opinions on this latest album from Masta and Marco Polo, and it is called A Breukelen Story. Now, Marco Polo is a producer who's coming out of Toronto, Canada, who's known for his masterful sampling work, and Masta is a legend who's been in the game for like 3 decades. This is a guy who's very consistent, he always goes hard every time he shows up, and I would recommend A Long Hot Summer if you're not familiar with his work. That's my personal favorite Masta album, although there are many other great ones, along with Disposable Art. So you can start with those couple of projects, then you probably want to check this one, because honestly, I think this is some of his best work, which again, is very impressive when you consider how long he's been in the game. So as the title suggests, you are getting a lot of Breukelen love here, and there are also some skits throughout that tell the story of how Marco Polo moved to Breukelen and then hooked up with Masta in order to make hip-hop history. The skits, they can be a little bit cheesy, and some people might not like them too much considering there are about 5 or 6 of them, but they do work pretty well. They tie in with the project, they didn't really take me out of it or anything like that, and you can always skip them because they're not pasted onto the track. So that's just a little thing I wanted to get out of the way. So on the title track, you're getting a very smooth neck snapper that has a groovy bass line. I absolutely love this production here, and Masta is speaking on some of the people who made it out of Breukelen, in regards to people like Biggie, Jay-Z, and even people who aren't from Breukelen, but made it in that place. So guys like Marco Polo, who moved there from Canada, and even Gangstar, who made it coming up in Breukelen. So, they didn't come up in Breukelen. I mean, they moved to Breukelen, and then that's where they came up in the game. So it's pretty cool. He's just speaking on Breukelen as this hub where you can make it if you're from there, or you can come here to do hip-hop and do great things as well. So I thought that was kind of a cool concept. But at times, Ace does get even deeper with the content. On the song Count 'Em Up, he's joined by Lil Fame from MOP, and they're just breaking down how police basically troll black communities in order to keep the prison population full. So they're just looking for anything they can pin on you just to keep those numbers up. So as Ace says, they just did a raid in my neighborhood, guess they running out of field labor, and this is just a very clear reference to the ties between business, the prison system, and racial bias. There really is a lot of content on here, and that's something that helps uplift the project, including on American Me, where Masta is just speaking on some of his experiences. As he says in his own words, I've been alive 51, been the same amount of years black, just letting you know that he's speaking from a place of vast experience, because he's been around for quite a while. And I like this line too, when he says, I was born in a world without innocence, because we all look guilty in them tenements, living life on the edge and it's been intense, the hands of hate planned our fate, and they've been winning since. This one really struck me because here he's just speaking on the historical fact of how black people have just been fucked over since the beginning of time. And it's not just in the United States of America. You guys know that I'm from Nova Scotia, Canada. Maybe you didn't, but now you know. So just look up Africville on Wikipedia if you want to learn something about where I'm from, because that's some shady shit that went on there. There are just plenty instances of this, including Black Wall Street. You could go on, man. There's plenty of things you can look at in order to learn from that history and hopefully not have it repeat. So I appreciate how Masta is bringing up these things, and there really is just a nice balance of straight up bars and content, as well as some very clever concepts. In particular, the fight song is a song that really grabbed me because Pharoah Monch is playing the part of multiple sclerosis, and Masta is rapping about his battles with that disease and just how it attacks him and how he feels as he deals with it. Very cool idea for a track. These two are both veterans, so they play off each other very nicely, and I just found that the heavy drums and the angelic vocals on the beat really helped add to the heavy feel of the track. Very real track, hits home, and I think it's cool how Masta was able to take a topic like that and do a cool concept with it as well. That is a sign of a great MC. So, as you can tell, as an old head, I love pretty much everything about this. You're getting lots of lyrics, and I think Marco Polo's sample-based production is brilliant throughout, man. He's bringing all kinds of instruments. I'm talking about, keys, strings, flutes, pretty much everything in between, and even his drum choices are very potent, man. I'm talking about those drums that hit you in the chest and you can really feel them. So both of these guys really are matching up together nicely. They've worked together many times in the past, but to see them put this whole project together really shows you how their work is at its highest peak, in my opinion. I think they did great on this project. I also got to point out how Masta kind of speaks for us old heads, and I think that's something that's great as well, man. On the song Kings, for example, he speaks on how it can be hard to accept all the changes that come in hip-hop as you get older. People are dressing different, using different slang, rapping different, and sometimes you're like, I can't really feel this. But he also makes it clear that we have to be really, knowledgeable of the importance of growth and evolution in hip hop, because in his own words, he goes on to speak about how our parents back in the day were looking at us crazy for the shit that we were listening to. So it's very easy to become that bitter old head who doesn't like everything, but you got to understand that it's the young people who are going to keep shit moving. So we get similar ideas on the song Still Love Her, where Ace is speaking on hip hop as if hip hop is a woman, and obviously this goes back into the song by Common called I Used to Love Her. I really like what Ace is doing here, though, because, again, he's speaking on how you can't be overly possessive of hip-hop, just like you can't be overly possessive of a woman, you know what I mean? Sometimes people move on, they fall in love with other people, they go on to do great things. It's kind of the same thing that he's speaking on with hip-hop here. So I thought that was a very cool approach. And then on the song Wannabe, he takes it even further. This is a concept track where he's just dropping game as a veteran and warning the up-and-coming MCs about shit that you might fall victim to. And Marlon Craft comes through with a great verse on that second verse, where he's playing the part of the young MC who really just wants to do all the fancy things out there, you know what I mean? Date Instagram models, do the drugs, party, and have fun. Because you know what? That's what some of these old heads were doing too. They were doing the same shit. They are rapping about some of the wild shit that young MCs take heat for rapping about. So there really is a combination of the generations on this track that I think is very cool. But Masta Ace is making it clear that, he's not really trying to hate on the youngsters coming up. He's trying to be more like a dad. You know what I mean? He's trying to warn you about certain things, give you the experiences, and bridge that gap. So that was a very cool track. I like how these three songs are dealing with that, because that's something that goes on within hip hop, man. There's always that generational gap, and it's always part of the discussion. So those are some great tracks there. To keep it moving, we get some great features. We absolutely got to show love to Styles P, who shows up on Man Law. I love the drawn out strings on this from Marco Polo. But Styles P has just been having one hell of a year, man. He's dropped a couple of great projects. He even did a project with Dave East called Beloved that was dope. Then you got all the guest verses he's had popping up everywhere. So I loved him on this track here. That's one of my favorites. And you get Elzai on Corporal Punishment, who just continues to be one of the most flawless MCs out there, in my opinion. I really like that line when he spits, "I'm a student of Masta Ace, Pastor Mace, and a killer bee with the Casper face." Obviously, he's talking about Ghostface. Really dope line there. You even get EMC coming back together, so that's Wordsmith, Strickland, and Masta Ace, obviously, on the song 3. This is just a 3-man bar fest with beautiful flutes from Marco Polo. So there are so many good things about this album, man. I've been ranting and raving about it, and the only song I really didn't love would be You and I. Still not even that bad. It kind of gave me some Nujabes vibes because of the beat, has some gentle strums on it. You're also getting a nice sample from Method Man and D'Angelo's track, Breakups to Makeup, so that was cool. And I really don't have too much more to say on this one, man. I really like damn near everything about it. I'm going to go with a 4.5 out of 5 here, because this is something that very quickly moved up into my top 10 spot. And even though I'm late, I'm glad I finally got to talk about it, because a lot of people were hitting me up to talk about this one. I wanted to talk about it, but you know how it is, getting hit with releases all the damn time. So hope you guys enjoyed this review. As usual, hit me up in the comments section to let me know your thoughts and opinions. Make sure you show me love and show me lots of it. We do have, coming up, another horror podcast with Mike Seatown, where we're going to talk about some of the best movies we watched in 2018. So that should be up this week if all goes as planned. Stay on the lookout for that, and I will see you next time.